everyone, and welcome to what episode is this, y'all? 13? I think that is 13. I hope I got that right. But good morning. I say good morning because it is exactly 6:20 my time on March 21st. We have officially come out of Pisces season, if I am not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that we have. And with that being said, let's have a very hard conversation this morning about something that the ancestors brought up to me. They made it hard for me, so I'm going to make it hard for you all. In the midst of our research about a lot of the world news recently, we've come in contact with a not so nice conversation that we think needs to be had here at the Hoodou Shoppe and within the greater parts of the House of Frida. And we talked today, you all, about boundaries. We talked today, my loves, about boundaries. We are having a very heartfelt, hand slap to the back of the head moment with the ancestors, where we are having no choice but to create stronger boundaries within ourselves, and ultimately with other people in order to have better lives, right? Safer lives at that. The ancestors, for one reason or another, decided to bring up to me a very, 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 very interesting topic, specifically in the romantic department. Nobody bite my head off. Okay? Please don't bite my head off. This is what they said to me. They were not talking about me specifically. You all know that your priestess does not have any children. But they were referring to one of the topics that we just so happen to have ran past about young women having stronger boundaries with the men that they create children with, and so on and so forth. And would you all believe that the ancestors said to me verbatim, they said, your father knew that your mother was strong enough to raise a child alone. That's why he liked her in the first place. And y'all, I could have screamed. Because that comment took me out. Let me explain to y'all what that means. The ancestors, in several but very few words, are saying these men knew they were lazy when you met them. These men knew that you were emotionally vulnerable when you met them, child or no child. So let me touch on that a little bit more. They are not just talking about the men that you have children with. They are talking about the people that you allow into your lives. And this even goes beyond, right, your romantic relationships, because this season has been about boundaries with everybody, whether it be friendships, romantic relationships, familiar ones. I've seen several instances where a lot of you have had to create immense boundaries with parents because your gungun have literally forced you to. These people have backed you into a corner where you're having no choice but to accept that you cannot do anything else for anyone else without putting yourself in detriment, right? And it's getting to the point where you're no longer allowed to be someone's guardian angel or saving grace or priestess, uncommissioned, might I add, because you're being forced to accept what it is that takes away from you, right? Who, child, I did not expect them to sit here and to be trying to have this conversation at 6:30 a.m., but I am down for it because, y'all, this is a hard conversation. When I sat down with my Egungun to divine over the situation, the ancestors talked literally about how people will notice your strength and view it as something that benefits them. That notion that a lot of us, strong people, in quotation marks, you guys can't see my air quotes, but a lot of us have a misconceived notion that people see strong people such as ourselves and they're like, oh, they're so strong, let me see if I can take care of them. People don't think that way. The majority of them don't anyway. Or at least people that are in a detriment within themselves, they're not going to think that way. They're selfish. A lot of you need to accept that these people that you keep trying to make space for are just selfish. That goes for your parents included. A lot of y'all's mamas and daddies are selfish as hell. Selfish. Selfish. I, mm, I should not say this, but I'm going to say it. I don't care who gets mad at me about it. You are not responsible for paying your mother's bills. You are not responsible for making your father happy. You are not responsible for raising your siblings. You are not responsible for restoring a legacy that somebody else messed up. You are not responsible for any of that. And you're definitely not responsible to build up the next black man. Okay. You are not responsible for that. I am so sick and tired of watching a lot of you question yourselves because of the nonsense that you see on the internet. Now a lot of you as brown and black women and every other kind of woman, let's not even make it just our culture. I have seen women in general and men alike, before anybody gets their little panties in a knicker, I have seen a lot of you think about how to conform yourselves to fit this new narrative. This new narrative is shit. Okay, it does not benefit anyone except for people who do not want to grow. And if you don't want to grow, how are you supposed to benefit from anything? People in this world will keep you exactly where it is that they are just so they can justify where they're at. Which goes back to our original conversation. What did they say? Your dad knew your mom was strong enough to raise a child by herself. That's why he liked her in the first place. He never once sat there and said, let's be a team. That was never his thought process, even before this woman got pregnant. This very selfish individual said, I can get what I want out of this situation and have no responsibility that I intend to take care of. And then turn around and say, well, she should have made better decisions. Right? Imagine being that willing to be a complete piece of shit. Imagine that. Imagine being that mediocre in the world. It's funny because amongst the reading that I did with the ancestors, you all know that we've been practicing our tarot skills. For those of you that don't know, or this may be your first time here at the Hoodoo Shoppe, hi, my loves. I am your love goddess, right? I am your love goddess. I am the head conjure woman here at the Hoodoo Shoppe. I am your mentor, your teacher, your priestess in the House of Frida, where I train the next line of priestesses. I hope to see you all in August here in Houston, Texas, where we will be hosting our bath time event and opening our doors to the public for the first time. Before, in the past, these events have been reserved just for students, mentorship students, priestesses alike, but this time we've chosen to do things a little differently. So with that being said, I can't wait to see you all. I hope that you all are making arrangements to come because we're just going to have a ball. For those of you that have attended events with yours truly, your love goddess in the past, y'all know that we have had an absolute blast. I encourage you all to go back to previous episodes, previous free classes here on our YouTube, and like our magical oranges class where we talked a lot about boundaries, healthy relationships, childhood trauma, and we specifically have students that have attended in-person events in the past that actually left some reviews there that you all can go watch and see on your own. But yes, so let's get back into our class for the moment being, where the ancestors are kind of chewing us out, right? The ancestors talk about, what were we talking about, guys? Boundaries. We were talking about boundaries. The ancestors talk about how you all need to learn how to be more selfish. You all need to learn how to be more selfish, because if you were more selfish, you wouldn't have a lot of things that you have going on now. They're talking to me too, right? We all have this, I don't want to call it a white knight syndrome, but a lot of us do, especially as priestesses. I'll say we have a priestess syndrome. where we put on all our white clothes and our white head wrap, and we go out and we try to save the whole world. We're trying to heal all the children. We're trying to help all the women. We're trying to heal all the men. And we, right, as priestesses, have a hard time accepting who does and does not deserve any help. And before y'all get, once again, all high and mighty on me, start throwing Bibles at my head and whatnot, let me clarify. People who turn their back to God, that's between them and God. That's between them and God. Because I want you all to remember, I don't like calling our practices spirituality. Okay, that's some Western American bullshit. That's not what this is. This is Ifa. This is Haitian voodoo. This is hoodoo. It ain't got shit to do with spirituality. Okay, no, we specifically talk to the ancestors, the Agungun, the Orisha, the Loa, and whoever else, God and our ancestors, right, have deemed fit. We don't go out messing around with all this other nonsense that we don't need, right? I consider spirituality the rest of it, okay? The rest of it. But our practices are legal religions in this world that people actually patron behind. So leave the spirituality conversation over there, please. Leave it over there. And I said that because um this is a space that is holy. Okay, literally, God lives here. We do believe in God here. We still use Bibles here, just clarifying for anybody that was a little confused. We still use the Bible here, and a lot of my students, including myself, we all still pray to Jesus Christ. Why? Because our ancestors who were slaves, baby, that's where hoodoo came from, right? I had an elder a long time ago tell me, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If your ancestors used what they had, which was that Bible with that name in there, to get themselves out of what they were in, you pay your respects by using that ashe that they deposited into that specific religion. Okay? And let me say something else. Y'all do know that Jesus Christ still lives in these other pantheons as well, right? He just has a different name. So don't go over there. Don't go out in the world saying, Priestess Celeste said, no, I did not. Okay? We don't throw babies out with bathwater over here. This is still a church. Okay? So, back into our reading. I said all that because the ancestors are bringing up the fact that you all have a bad habit of believing that it is unholy of you. Unholy of you to set boundaries and tell people, no, I'm not going to do that. Or refuse to help people. You cannot help somebody who does not want to accept help from God. Okay? Y'all need to stop making people's rejections of better health. Y'all need to stop taking that personally. If they don't want to help themselves, you drive yourself crazy trying to help them. And I say this because the card that the ancestors use to describe you all is very, I don't want to call it needy, right? But it's very much the energy of needing someone that needs you. Okay? And so while you may walk into these relationships with this idea of, oh, this man's going to take care of me, he going to do this, and you knew he was weak, though. You knew he was weak. And instead of walking away and go finding a man that was of your caliber, you sat there and you said, well, I can help him. No, you can't. No, you can't. Because that man knows that he's weak. Would y'all believe that? He knows that he's weak. And at no point in time did that stop him from jumping his little tail right on into your life, right? Because at the end of the day, he's like, well, first, I don't want to help her, right? Why would I give her everything and she got more than me? Whoo, ancestors, that just hurt me to my core, because y'all don't deserve to deal with people that think that way. You don't deserve to deal with people that think and feel that way about you, especially when you know that you're willing to do so much for them. This is I hope y'all are listening. I hope that we are all still on board, y'all. because that's just a lot to absorb. And it's heartbreaking, to be honest with you. It's truly heartbreaking to know that you could be out here trying to help people and they will take full advantage of said help. Um, which is really interesting because I don't know if you all know this, a small tarot lesson, but the Ten of Pentacles is one of my favorite cards when it comes to healthy boundaries. It really is. The Ten of Pentacles is that card of, I am not going to do this with you people, right? It's that card of, even, regardless of how you feel, this is where I stand on this and I'm not budging, right? Is to make sure that all of your assets, and specifically you, are protected, right? When we lack healthy boundaries, we end up in situations that are massively uncomfortable for us. And one of the most heartbreaking things about that uncomfortability is when a lot of you sit in that space and you have no choice but to accept that the people that are making you uncomfortable know that and they don't care and never have. And then a lot of you move into this headspace where it's like, I've done all this for this person, they don't even care that I'm uncomfortable. Well, let's head back to the beginning of this conversation. Your dad knew that your mom was strong enough to raise the baby alone. That's why he liked her. She never made him take any responsibility. And that's the same situation here. You get to that point where you realize, wow, I did all of this because I convinced myself that you were worth it. Right? Whew, this is a interesting class to be having at almost 7 a.m. It's 6:37, you all. And bottom line is that don't go for the weak ones just because. Let me rephrase that. Don't be the only strong person in your life. Do not be the only strong person in your life. You will get into the habit of being the Queen of Swords. I believe I've said that to you all before. But the Queen of Swords is a woman that can be perceived as rather mean, sometimes a little hostile. She's definitely thought of as selfish to some people, when in actuality they don't understand that she's gotten to a point where she has no choice but to set boundaries that harsh with people, that strict with people. Because if you're here for the right reasons, why do my boundaries hurt you anyway? Right? You all need to get comfortable with being perceived as mean. I think that a lot of you, especially us as Black women, we have been dealing with ridicule about that particular issue for a long time, and fuck it, right? Because I personally feel like the only men that complain about our attitudes are men that ain't supposed to be over here with us, right? You're not sitting at this table, as far as I'm concerned. And so I want you all to think about that. Remember that you really do hold the sword that creates and destroys life in your life. You literally have the ability to protect yourself from all that comes near. And if somebody thinks that you're being mean for doing so, then so be it. What are they going to do about it? So with that being said, I encourage everybody to be doing protection magic during this season. Our protection magic ritual is officially up and running, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that it is, where you all can go and sign up every month. Because protection magic is not just against people trying to hex you or people trying to break into your house. Protection magic is for fake friends, lousy lovers, and selfish family. Okay? Here at the Hoodoo Shop, we firmly believe, we literally stand for healthy boundaries, okay? And we do not mind removing anybody that's not supposed to be there, including parents, right? As some of you know. And before, once again, I feel like I have to have all these disclaimer notices because nowadays everybody's all high and mighty on the internet, right? Before y'all sit here and say, you shouldn't be working nobody, mama, ain't nobody asked you, okay? And if you gonna pipe up, not in this space. Cool, right? Because a lot of people's mothers and fathers is where that trauma started. where you were forced to be emotionally responsible for an adult, somebody who should be emotionally responsible for themselves, and then they gaslit y'all to hell and made y'all think that you were being selfish by not wanting to do all this shit for them that you shouldn't have been doing anyway. And so, no, I am going to sit here and tell you all, protect yourself from your parents. Make sure that you are protecting your money, your homes. I've seen situations for some of you where you all have such an unhealthy boundary with your parents that some of y'all's parents have moved into your houses without permission, without asking, and y'all are in y'all's 30s, married. God knows what is going on, and your mama just showed up one day and she never left, right? A lot of y'all's daddies didn't do nothing for y'all as children. Y'all had to teach yourself how to do everything that a man is supposed to teach you how to do. But he has no problem after you're an adult. He no longer feels legally responsible for you coming to you and asking you for things. Am I right? Grandmamas that called y'all everything but a child of God, but all of a sudden you the only grandchild that picks up the phone. If for some reason you still picking up the phone. You know, aunties and uncles that have unrealistic expectations of you and then will dog you out while simultaneously saying, well, you're the only child strong enough to get this done. Let me nip that in the bud right here. Pisces season is over. We are no longer in our feelings. Those moments of deep introspection are almost over. And now we're ready to fuck some shit up. It's getting hot outside and we're not dealing with this anymore. Strong boundaries. Strong boundaries. And if you don't know how to set boundaries, we do here at the Hoodou Shop. Come see us. We don't mind helping you. So let's this particular topic is really important for this season also because, like I said, the summertime is approaching and the spring is as well. Spring first, right? And with the spring comes a lot of growth. I believe that seeds are planted during the winter and they grow up during the spring, right? And during the summer they flourish. You know, during the fall we harvest everything, and then during the winter we plant the new seeds for things to be regrown again. And so if you were doing your shadow work and actually taking time to be very self-reflective during the winter, then you have some interesting seeds sprouting. The issue with that is, though, right, is who else is waiting for your seeds to bloom? Who else do you have in your life that's looking over your shoulder at your hard work while simultaneously looking back at what they chose to do during the summertime, right? Not the summer, but the winter time. They didn't plant any food for themselves. And if y'all think somebody like has a problem coming into your garden and stealing your food, you're crazy. And a lot of times it be your own family. Let's talk about that, right? Just so I can help y'all get a better understanding of what I mean. A lot of y'all's, and I ain't trying to be funny, but a lot of you, and this is my experiences with a lot of you students, clients, and in between here at the shop, where y'all have talked about your mothers who used to like take money out of your purse. Right? Right. Y'all's mamas who would get catty around when men were around with you, right? I'm speaking specifically to the young women. For the young men, a lot of your fathers wanted to diminish you in front of other men, you know, boy you in front of other men. And a lot of you have viewed it as, well, you know, I was a child, I was supposed to stay in a child's place. Were you ever out of a child's place? Is my question. Were you ever out of a child's place? The reason why they felt the need to do that? No. And let's go ahead and begin deconstructing this habit that we've grown up with in our generation of abuse was discipline. And I'm not talking about just physical abuse. I'm talking about mental and emotional abuse as well, right? I don't believe that it was okay. Ooh, we moving into a whole nother realm of boundaries, y'all. I've never believed in the whole my son is acting up in school, I'ma shave his hair out. I, mm, mm. I'm not a parent. And before you negligent parents get in my comments with this foolishness talking about, well, everybody parenting style is different. Yeah, that's not okay. I don't care what you say. It's not okay to shave your child, to take a part of your child's appearance away, something that is a part of who he is as a human. it's not okay for you to take it away and and sit here and like low-key laugh about it. I don't understand why humiliating your children has ever been funny, to be perfectly honest with you. And it seems like that's something that has progressively increased. It's not new. Let me be very clear. Embarrassing your child is not new. It used to be where parents would show up to schools and like put their hands on their children in front of everybody else to see, which was absolutely abusive, right? But now it's we're going to put them on the internet, we're going to shame them. I've seen some of you mothers getting on the internet, shaming y'all's daughters, calling them a whore and all. Why the fuck would you do that? Why would you degrade your child in front of the entire world? Why would you call your child a whore in front of the entire world? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Not only are you not aiding the issue, because what's actually happening is that your child's being human and they're going through puberty. And it's your job to sit there and help them to mediate puberty. Because for y'all that for a lot of you, your parents tried to act like sex just didn't exist and then tried to slut shame you, right? When you became sexually active. And a lot of you, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've seen from a lot of you didn't even become sexually active until you were of age, right? And so I will never understand why you're mad at your daughter for quote unquote sexualizing herself. And then you would turn around and over sexualize her in front of the entire world for men and women to see. What about that is going to help with her self-esteem or her character development, to be more to be more specific? What about that is going to make her be a better person? Did shaming you stop you from doing anything you weren't supposed to be doing, or did that child still come out? Last time I checked, it still came out, right? Did you have a child with a man that was worthy? If not, you should not be shaming your daughter about anything. You shouldn't be. You should be asking yourself what habits of yours she may have picked up. Because if you got a lack of self-respect, you've probably shown her in very few but many words that that's relatively normal, right? So with that, I leave you all with these words of advice. Be a little bit more compassionate towards your fellow man. Be a little bit more compassionate, because you as parents, let me say this, as parents, you are where those boundaries first start. The boundaries that you teach your child to have with other people, the boundaries that you allow your children to have with you, is going to set the tone for what their boundaries look like with other people. It is. And for those of you who are products of that, set your damn boundaries. Y'all knew that your mothers and your fathers was wrong when they were doing everything that they were doing. And now that you're adults, you can say it out loud. Oh, they were wrong. Yes, my love, they were wrong. Dead wrong. Boundaries, my loves, boundaries. Boundaries are so important during this time, because when I tell you somebody will see your strength and take advantage of it, I really do mean it. I know that this class was a little bit everywhere. This is only part 1 of this particular topic. So I advise you all to come back possibly in a couple weeks, because hopefully I will be recording the second part of this soon, right? Or at least releasing it. For you all to enjoy. I hope that you have enjoyed. I do not believe that I missed anything, but if I did, I'll just add some more onto this. But yeah. Boundaries, guys. Really, really, really strict boundaries. Don't let somebody take advantage of your strength just because I don't want to say just because you view it as a weapon, but just because you haven't acknowledged it as a layer of protective armor. Yeah, your strength is not here for you to help everybody. Your strength is here to help you. Okay? So I would like for everybody to be aware of that. I would really love for y'all to take advantage of that and embrace it. Embrace being the Queen of Swords. Embrace the fact that people can't get too close to you, because contrary to what a lot of you may believe, not everybody has your best interests at heart. And I know a lot of us, that's literally the nature of Pisces season, trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. But you know what else is the nature of Pisces season? Seeing people for who they actually are the first time. And if you have a Pisces friend or you know a Pisces for real, they always see people who they actually are the first time. Whether or not you choose to acknowledge it is up to you. And with that being said, I love you all. Please, I hope that you all are a part of our money magic ritual this evening. And if you're not, make sure that you sign up for the ritual in April. Once again, I hope to see you all in August for our bath time events. And I hope that you all have seen the new arrivals in the Hoodoo Shop. You guys, we have magical lingerie now. I know. We have magical lingerie. We have enchanted essentials for our 420 gang. Yes, we have your rolling trays. We have these beautifully enchanted grinders. So let me explain to you all what that means. We enchant everything in the Hoodoo Shop, from the things that we make to the things that we don't hand make, right? And so I know a lot of you are like, what's the difference between us buying lingerie from you and buying it from somewhere else? Your lingerie that you buy from somewhere else is not going to work. Our lingerie, however, can get people pregnant. Magically, literally get people pregnant, right? It's specifically enchanted to correlate with whatever magic it is that you're doing yourself, or whatever magic you may have been prescribed from the Hoodoo Shop or your priestess. Our magical grinders are literally used to literally activate the magic and the ashe of the herbs that you're putting inside of it, right? So now it's not just a smoke session. For a lot of my herbalist babies, this is what y'all need. This is what you need to help with your anxiety, to help with your hypertension, to help with your ADHD. This is what you need. You don't need medication. You need enchanted items so that your products, your self-soothing methods are working the way that they're supposed to. We're also thinking about adding teas to the shop, but that's a work in progress because we'd have to figure out the safest way to have tea mailed to you all and shipped. But if you're interested in that, please let us know. And we hope that you all have enjoyed the first part of this course, boundaries for the spring. And we'll talk to you all soon. Make sure that you're active in our Facebook group, the Hoodoo Shop. It's home to our community outreach program. There are constantly announcements being made. It's literally the most up-to-date way to keep in contact with us outside of mentorship. Mentorship is the only place where you can literally get my full and undivided attention because you're training, right? So, and mentorship does not look anything like the community outreach program. They're learning how to flip some tables over in there, along with our Patreon as well. If you're looking for a more subtle approach, for those that are very, very, very new, you're just trying to dip your toe in, get your feet a little wet, Patreon's perfect. There's plenty to go in there and read about. We started teaching magical herbalism on Patreon and all kinds of things. So we hope that you all have enjoyed. I love you all dearly. Please heed my warning, because a lack of boundaries is going to end y'all up in some spots y'all really don't want to be in this summer, okay? So I love y'all, I appreciate y'all, and I can't wait to see you all next time.